Hey, how's it going? My name is Lauren May and welcome to this video. As you can tell, I haven't been uploading for a few weeks and so I want to apologize. I've been bogged down with like super intense assignments and also I've also been sick. So unfortunately that was the case, but here I am with another video and I thought I'd do something different this time and I'm really excited about it. I'm going to review a TV show. The TV show I'm reviewing today is Freakish. It is a TV show that is available on Hulu, which I guess is a streaming service. I found out about this TV show through Megan Ranks, who's a YouTuber here on YouTube, and yeah, I'm a fan of her, so I was super excited to see her in this, and I thought that it would be a good idea to, you know, share my opinions and thoughts on the whole season and series. So yeah, this is a Freakish review. Alrighty, let's just get right started. For those of you who don't know, Freakish is a, I guess, teen zombie horror kind of TV show. It has, you know, zombies in it, so that's a thing. And it's very thrilling. It's got, you know, your love interest, and it's really exciting. And overall, I really enjoyed it. So yeah, that I just wanted to begin with. I also just want to say, if you haven't yet seen the show and really want to and don't want any spoilers, not that I'm going to give too much away, I don't want to get like bad feedback saying I spoiled it. This is a pre-warning. I'm going to say some things that you might not want to hear if you haven't seen it and you want to, but if you haven't seen it and you want to hear the spoilers, then keep on watching, or you have seen it and you want to hear my thoughts, then also keep watching. Alrighty, so because I'm a fan of Megan's, I didn't really know much about the show until I started watching it, so I wasn't actually aware that it was a horror type show. And honestly, I'm not too much into horror. I mean, I have seen a bit of American Horror Story and I like watch other shows a bit creepy and weird, but like zombies aren't normally my thing, but I really enjoyed this show. This show kind of starts off with a bit of a Breakfast Club kind of appeal to it. It starts off with a whole bunch of kids going into detention on a Saturday. So yeah, so it follows these kids' story from detention. Some of them weren't actually in detention, they were just at the school doing practice or putting up posters or whatever it is. But basically what happens is while they're at the school, a nuclear power plant explodes down in the town, and yeah, the story kind of unfolds from there. And this big cloud of, I think at the beginning it's orange, but throughout the show it goes green, which I think is weird. But anyway, this cloud that if you start breathing it or whatever, you become infected, which is like the zombie kind of freaky kind of thing that they've got going on. So yeah, they just try and figure out how to get free, how to survive, how to not get bitten, how not to, you know, all of that kind of things. So each character had a really good story arc, and I was really, you know, engaged in each character's development and how each person or character was, you know, going through the story. And it was really interesting how, you know, at the beginning of the season, like in episode 1, say, you kind of had skeptic about a few people and you thought, oh, they're a bit dodgy. And then as you move through the season, you kind of, those change, and like different people, you kind of like, what are you doing? And like, it kind of changes, and that's really cool. And so you're kind of not sure how this story is going to unfold, which is really like engaging. And I really enjoyed like being concerned about everyone and then trusting someone else and then like liking someone. Like, it was just a really nice way to flow through the storyline. Was, you, I guess, your trust or your likeness towards characters changed a lot through this series, which was really good. So I just want to like touch base on the characters like specifically. Let's start with Grover, which I guess is the first character pretty much you see. He's the guy who comes to detention on Saturday because, not because he's done something wrong, but because he likes this girl who's in detention and he wants to hang out with her, which is kind of cute, but it's like, dude, what are you doing with your Saturday? I really like how his character unfolds. He has a sister who's at school as well, and he's very protective of her, and I really like their relationship and how they're really close because their parents work all the time. And I also like how his relationship with Violet, which is the girl that he likes, unfolds after, you know, the events of being trapped in a school after an, you know, apocalypse or whatever. And I really like how, you know, that flows to, I guess, the ending of season 1. Zoe, and I think his name's LaShawn or Sean or whatever the guy's name is. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it. But Megan Rank's character and her character's boyfriend, they're very cute together. It was very lovey-dovey. They obviously, like, have a really big connection, but it was just interesting through the events that happen in the show, you know, how their relationship either evolves or, you know, questions it. Like, it was just very interesting how their relationship, you know, goes through the series, I guess is what I'm saying. In the show though, things happen in the show. Like I said, I'm not going to try and spoil as much as possible, but so stuff happens in the show and you kind of like, I started like wanting Zoe to get with another character, and I'm not sure if that's because of the things that happen or just because I like that character and how that character changed. But yeah, it was very interesting how even though she's in this relationship, you kind of maybe want her to be with someone else. I don't know, like I thought that was interesting how they played that into the story as well. So Barrett, which is like the techie kind of guy, he seems so suspicious from the get-go. Like, he's a very reserved person. He seems very, I want to say arrogant. He's definitely not someone you trust at all through the whole series, and events that happen, you know, the characters are trusting him and then he betrays it, or he lies to them, or he doesn't tell them certain things, and like he's always kind of, this mistrust is happening, but then at the end he ends up, you know, coming through and telling the truth, and like what he's saying is the truth, and you know, he'd been saying it all along but they didn't trust him, and it was like this whole big thing with his character, and his like emotional, you know, growth through the story is also really awesome, and I liked how that worked into the story as well. I thought it was really cool how I think Awesomeness TV and Hulu were the producers of the show, and I thought it was really cool how they brought in like Haynes Grier or whatever his name is and Megan Ranks, who were influencers, into a cast of already existing actors. Obviously, you know, Megan and Haynes have, you know, experience in other areas, but it was cool to see them interact, and it's going to be interesting to see like their followers watch the show and how they react to the show, and then bring, you know, their awareness to the actors who may not be known by a lot of people who know Megan. And I don't know, it's just a nice way of incorporating two different, you know, worlds into one TV show, which was really cool. So Diesel, the character, he's very quiet and reserved. He seems, you know, like a misfit or an outcast. You don't really know much about his story or his backstory or like why he's in detention or like all of that kind of stuff, and you're like, do we trust this guy? Maybe, I don't know. But as the show unfolds, like, it's this something I didn't actually expect from him, his character, was that he becomes this very loyal and protective person. Like, he's the one who barricades all the doors, he's the one who tries to protect everyone, and in particular, he, you know, is trying to protect Natalie, and their relationship is so like interesting. Like, I didn't see it coming at all, like how they, you know, bond, because their like characters are so different. He's this like misfit, like outcast, and she's like running for student body president or whatever it is, and like it's interesting how outside of this like this nuclear event or whatever, they would have never crossed paths or wanted to talk to each other, but in this situation, you know, they start hanging out and they start, you know, having feelings for each other. And it's really interesting how, you know, that follows through to the end. And yeah, I was shocked at the end of the series, and I was not expecting what happened to happen. So yeah, I thought that was interesting and really cool, and I liked their story. It was very cute. At one stage though, I did think, I was like, oh no, I bet like the 6 or 7 people who are left are gonna like end up together, and they're just gonna pair off, and there's gonna be this awkward person left, and then they're just gonna like, kind of what they did, but at the same time, it wasn't. Like, they only had a few couples here and there, and there was, like, awkward relationships with other people, and yeah, I really liked how they did that. Natalie, so I actually did not realize she was pregnant at all. She hid it so well until I did not expect her to be pregnant, but it was just a nice twist. It's like, oh crap, they're in part of apocalypse and this chick is like carrying a baby. Like, whoa. It kind of throws a spanner in the works, and decisions after that were influenced by her. Like, she wasn't involved in certain plans to resource certain things, afraid that she would get, you know, bitten or attacked by these freaks, or like certain things right at the end where she did this thing. And yeah, it was powerful and unexpected, but I really like her character. She was very awesome. And her relationship with Zoe was kind of reconciled, because it seems like they hate each other at the beginning, but then you find out that they were friends, and, you know, Natalie betrayed Zoe and or whatever it was, and it was interesting how, you know, their relationship, you know, developed and got closer back together through the show. Yeah, I really loved each character. Like, there wasn't one I hated for the whole series. Like, you end up kind of loving all of them. So the ending was really surprising and unexpected, but at the same time you kind of saw bits of it coming. It led up to a certain point where like certain things had to happen, so you saw that coming, but then like other things happened, you're like, whoa, like didn't expect that, like, woo. Yeah, it definitely, which these things kind of lead up to, you know, an opening for a season 2, which is really surprising because, you know, some, you know, season 1s, they conclude with like a strange ending, and I guess could be because they're not sure if there's going to be enough popularity for a season 2 or not, but it clearly, like, they if there's not a season 2, I'll be so upset, because the story just kind of stops. Like, there's no conclusion. It's just like, oh, we're halfway through like this event right now, what happens? And so I'm really eager to find out what happens in season 2. Like, I'm impatiently waiting for season 2, even though season 1 just came out. I hope they start filming it really soon, because I'm so keen, because certain things are happening and I just want to find out what they are. I also want like characters like to develop more through this season 2. Like, there's certain things that I kind of want to happen, and I kind of got the feeling in season 1 that, you know, they were like slowly culling down to like a group of 6 or whatever, and then like, you know, you kind of expect like another person to die and then another person to die. I really hope that they don't do that in season 2, and I really hope that instead of like culling the group even more, what they do is they like, you know, have relationships like strained, or like rivalries and betrayals, and like there's like ends up being like all this different conflict, and 2 groups or whatever go off differently, and you kind of figuring out who's doing what and who's on what side. Like, it'd be really interesting to see those kinds of situations in like this storyline in season 2, because like it's kind of predictable in a lot of like zombie apocalyptic kind of shows and movies that they have like a group of people and then slowly they just cull them down to like 4 or like 3 or whoever it may be. So now that like that's kind of happened in season 1, I'd be really like excited to see how they change that from just culling even more in season 2. I just want to say that I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was such an interesting show. And it's obviously, you know, aimed at teenagers. I just thought it was really cool, and I'm really keen for season 2. And so yeah, I hope that you enjoyed me talking about this TV show. If you want to see me talk about more TV shows that have come out recently, please give this a thumbs up. I'm thinking of doing a Haters Back Off review, because I've started watching that and that came out recently, and I'm a huge fan of Colleen's. So if you think that's a good idea, please give this a thumbs up. And yeah, I hope you're having a good day, and remember, don't forget to hug someone today. Bye!